IJINLE. IJINLE means something deep, something, a knowledge that is deep in the Yoruba language. Something that is deep. I'll call on the admin to start recording now. So it means something deep in the Yoruba language, and I hope you enjoy it. So chapter 1, Shobaloju, the intellectual ancestor. And what is the meaning of Shobaloju? Shobaloju means the one that watches the face of the king. Shobaloju, the intellectual ancestor. Admin, are you recording now? I want us to capture this for those that will not be attending. Sorry, let me confirm. Okay, so we are good to go. So chapter 1, Shobaloju, the intellectual ancestor. There was once a kingdom called the kingdom of Omoluabi. Omoluabi was known as the kingdom of the learned and the intellectuals of old. The kingdom was very popular for its community library that served as the intellectual brain to the kingdom. There was a corner reserved for unique and sacred books in the community library, riddled to be sacred and not to be taken out of the library. The library users were allowed to read the books, but under Fide's supervision, the custodian of sacred texts. In the sacred collection, there was a book called IJINLE. The book was believed to be the original works of and ideas of Shobaloju, the kingdom's most prominent scientist. Other books in the sacred collection are the pieces of works of Ponwola, the kingdom's best chef, and the works of Olambiwoninu, the kingdom's first acclaimed, most successful businesswoman. In the year the green leopard appeared in the sky, Ishola, a young man in his early 20s, visited the library as usual for his evening intellectual adventure. And his favorite collection in the library was the sacred collection. On this fateful day, he requested Fide, the custodian of the sacred collections of the library, to open IJINLE, the personal life's work of Shobaloju, the kingdom's foremost scientist. Ishola was glued to this book for 3 hours, rarely blinking because of the deep things he began to discover in the book. Fide said to Ishola, as he read the book like a lion steadily walking to capture a prey, "You are the first person to come and request to read IJINLE. People do not usually come to the library to open the book, let alone to read it." Ishola went back to the library to read IJINLE for the next full moon, digesting and noting every scientific information contained therein. Ishola visited the library one day, and Fide was not at the special collection corner to supervise those reading the special texts. Ishola, who had fallen in love crazily with the book IJINLE, saw Fide's absence as an opportunity to steal the book. He looked left and right, and he fled the library with IJINLE, the only scientific text in the whole of Omoluabi's kingdom. Fide returned to the library after Ishola had stolen the book. He looked everywhere for it. He even asked the other people in the library if they saw anyone around the special corner of the library. None of the readers could provide any concrete answer. Fide informed the council of elders of the kingdom, and the news also got to the king, King Omodaraton Ilubushe III. After 10 days of the theft of IJINLE, the king announced that he would personally give 10 fat cows to anyone who can provide them with the information that will recover the book. Fide, the special collection librarian, noticed that Ishola had stopped visiting the library since the incidents of the theft. And he began to suspect Ishola, since he was the only one that comes to the library to read IJINLE. One evening, he decided to visit Ishola in his house. Ishola, where are you? Fide called out to Ishola from the front of his house. Immediately, Ishola heard Fide's voice. He quickly hid IJINLE in the roof of his room. How are you, Fide? Ishola exchanged pleasantries with Fide. Fide asked Ishola why he has not been coming to the library. And if he ever heard about the disappearance of IJINLE from the library. Ishola noted that he has been very busy, and he also confirmed the loss of IJINLE to be an unfortunate situation. After roughly 10 minutes of a chit chat, Fide bid Ishola goodbye. So that is the end of chapter 1. And I hope you enjoyed it. So we are to do a shallow dive on this chapter 1. So these are the questions from chapter 1 before we move to chapter 2. I hope you enjoyed the chapter 1. So who is Shobaloju? Who is Shobaloju? We can use the chat. I just want us to, I just want to be sure that we are following through. So who is Shobaloju? Who is Shobaloju? Anybody? Who is Shobaloju? The one who sees the face of the king. Yes, that's the interpretation of his name. What is his position in this story? Who is Shobaloju in this story? You can answer to any of these questions. What is the name of the kingdom? What is the name of the book? What is the name of the library custodian? I know the name might be very hard, but I'm just doing this shallow dive for us to follow through. So let us keep in mind who Shobaloju is, the name of the kingdom. Okay, let me check. Okay, yes. Okay. All right, library custodian, the most prominent. Okay. All right. I can see some responses. Okay. Shobaloju, yes, Shobaloju is the foremost scientist in Omoluabi's kingdom. The name of the kingdom is Omoluabi Kingdom. Yes, Shobaloju is the scientist. The name of the book is IJINLE, and the name of the custodian of the special section of the library is called Fide. Okay, let us go to chapter 2. Chapter 2. The sojourn in Emialala. Emialala means I am the dreamer, or I'm the one that dreams. Chapter 2, the sojourn in Emialala. Ishola knew immediately that Fide had come to sniff around to see if he was the one that stole IJINLE. So he became more careful, and he only read IJINLE in the middle of the night from that day onward. Ishola finished studying the book, and he discovered a lot of information in it. He was ready to test all the information he read in the book. Ishola discovered 5 major innovations from IJINLE. One prominent information out of the 5 innovations was putting together different elements of the natural environment to make metallic tools. Ishola relocated to the town's outskirts called Emialala, and he started experimenting with making metals due to the information he discovered from IJINLE. He kept experimenting with IJINLE by his side to guide him through whenever he made a mistake. After 3 full months living in solitude in Emialala, Ishola became an expert in making solid metals, and he made tools such as cutlass, hoes, metallic bows, spears, arrows, and many other metallic tools. The news of Ishola's success as an inventor had traveled around the whole kingdom, and Emialala became the new destination for innovation tourism, where people from far and near kingdom go to buy Ishola's latest inventions and also to learn how to make them. Ishola became a very prosperous man, and the Omoluabi's kingdom became the innovation hub for other kingdoms because of Ishola. The Omoluabi kingdom invested in building roads from Omoluabi's main town to Emialala, its modern innovation valley. Ishola started a school where most young people are learning different innovation and how to create new things by experimenting. Ishola had become the second scientist that ever lived after Shobaloju, the kingdom's foremost scientist, whose work Ishola stole and studied. The productivity in the Omoluabi kingdom snowballed, and the economy started booming because of Ishola's inventions. Ishola had become a very wealthy scientist, and he was the figure of hope and the future for the whole kingdom and beyond. During the New Yam Festival, in the year of the Itaja War, Ishola was made a chief with the title Atun Luto, meaning the one who reorganizes the community. He became a highly celebrated figure in the kingdom. Several full moons had passed when the kingdom had been looking for IJINLE, and it seems everyone had moved on. Even though King Omodaraton Ilubushe III of the Omoluabi kingdom had increased the price for anyone who could help find IJINLE from 10 cows to 30 cows over the last few full moons. No one had any information on the book, making the king's prize a hanging promise. The IJINLE information was passed down from generation to generation to allow the next generation know that a vital intellectual resource is still missing in the kingdom. This is the end of chapter 2, the sojourn in Emialala. So this is the shallow dive of the chapter 2. So what is the name of the town Ishola relocated to? Let's use the chart like we did the other time. What is the name of the town Ishola relocated to? What is the name of the town Ishola relocated to? It's in Yoruba language. And yes, Emialala, yes. So awesome, Emialala. So what is the most prominent innovation discovered by Ishola from IJINLE? What is the most prominent innovation that Ishola discovered and he explored it to become a popular man? He discovered a lot of innovation, but one was really outstanding and he explored it. Yes, building tools with metals. Yeah, metalworks. Yes, metalwork. Yeah. Number 3, what is the name of the chieftaincy title given to Ishola? Yes, carving of metals. Number 3, what is the name of the chieftaincy title given to Ishola? Ishola was given a chieftaincy title because of his works with metals. Atun Luto, yes, he was given a chieftaincy title of Atun Luto. Thank you, everyone. Number 4, the price to anyone that could help in recovering the book went from how many cows to how many cows? King Omodaraton Ilubushe III actually initially promised a number of cows, but after a long time, when they could not recover the book, he increased the price to another, yes, 10 to 30 cows. Yes, yes, awesome. I'm glad we are following. Okay, I think we are ready for chapter 3. Let's go to chapter 3. Thank you for the feedback. All right, chapter 3. The taboo room. Chapter 3. The taboo room. Several full moons had passed, and Ishola had kept IJINLE away secretly from his wife and children, and everyone that works for him and with him. Ishola has a room in his house that no other person can enter. Whenever he's in that room, no one dares go near the door or even knock. He warned all his children never to attempt entering the room. Ishola had 3 children. Ofintoto, the eldest. Ofintoto, the eldest. Onwowo Mioto, the second child. And Ujuolakbe, the last born. Ofintoto was a very brilliant young man with a curious mind. As he grew older, he began to question some of the instructions of his father, Ishola. The most troubling for him was the taboo room his father had instructed him and his siblings never to enter. One evening, when Ishola was out, Ofintoto asked his mother, Adeshewa, why his father never allowed anyone into that particular room. Adeshewa responded, the room is your father's library, so you must continue to respect his decision not to let anyone in. Ofintoto was not satisfied with his mother's response, but he kept his thoughts to himself henceforth. He determined to break into the room one day, and he was ready to damn the consequences. The Itaja War was still ongoing, and the invaders sent a message to the Omoluabi kingdom that they were going to invade Omoluabi in the next 7 market days. The kingdom of Omoluabi made a call to all young men who were willing to defend the kingdom from the invaders. Ofintoto, a young, brave, and energetic son of Ishola, volunteered to join the local warriors to protect their kingdom from the invaders. His father, Ishola, discouraged him so much from volunteering to fight, but he would not listen. On the 7th market day, the invaders came as promised. Ofintoto fought with great strength and bravery, even though the invaders were overpowering the Omoluabi camp. The commander-in-chief of the Omoluabi's warriors, Fogunrorin, immediately called for a retreat to re-strategize. While other Omoluabi's warriors were retreating, Ofintoto, a supposed newbie to war, did not listen to the order as he kept fighting the Itaja invaders. He faced the Itaja invaders' commander in a fist fight while his comrades watched from their retreat spot. In the Omoluabi's kingdom, it was a taboo to make the back of the commander touch the ground. If that happens, all his subjects must surrender and become automatic warriors for the battalion that conquers. As the fist fight continued between Ofintoto and the Itaja militia commander, it became evident that the Itaja militia commander was already staggering and fighting to catch his breath, as Ofintoto kept punching and twisting his head. Ofintoto lifted the massive Itaja commander like a lightning from the sky, and he dropped him like a log of dead wood on the rugged, rocky floor. A shout of victory suddenly emanated from the Omoluabi retreat spot, and they quickly lifted Ofintoto as the winner of the war. All the Itaja warriors surrendered, and they followed Omoluabi warriors to the palace of King Omodaraton Ilubushe III. A big party was thrown that night for the victory, and Ofintoto was crowned the youngest warrior of the Omoluabi kingdom. End of chapter 3. All right, let's do a shallow dive. I hope you are enjoying it. So, Ishola had how many children? Let me hear from you. Ishola had how many children? Okay, yes, 3 children. He had 3 children. Yes. So what is the name of Ishola's eldest son, the one that went to fight in the war? What is his name? Ofintoto, yes. Ofintoto, yes. Ofintoto, yes. It shows that we are really following. Ofintoto, yes. All right, I think we are ready for chapter 4. All right, chapter 4, the big ask. Ishola, Ofintoto's father, also threw a big party for his son's victory in his Emialala's home. As the party was ongoing, Ishola suddenly asked all the guests of honor to give him some audience, as he had something to say. Ishola gave a short speech that highlighted how proud he was of his son And he ended his speech by asking his son to make just one request, that he would never deny him. Ofintoto thought for a while after that statement from his father, Ishola. Ofintoto responded after a dead silence in the room. Father, I want the key to your taboo room right now. Ishola's joyful and bright countenance went gloomy suddenly after hearing the request of his son, Ofintoto. He did not have any choice to give the key to his son, since he promised him in the presence of the guests. He reluctantly gave the room's key to Ofintoto, and immediately Ofintoto rushed at once to open the room. After a few minutes, Ofintoto emerged from the taboo room to the party space with a big book in his hands, and he said, "Silence, everyone." The whole party went dead silent. The guests kept wondering what book Ofintoto had in his hands as he approached his father, who was already melting on the stage. Ofintoto called out, "Father, so you are the one with IJINLE, the book that has been lost for several full moons." The whole room went agog with this discovery, and some men carried Ishola suddenly on their shoulders to the king's palace. Ofintoto also followed them with IJINLE in his hands. End of chapter 4. All right. Do we have a shallow dive for this? Yes. All right. What was Ofintoto's request from his father? What was Ofintoto's request from his father? Ofintoto, yes. The key to the taboo room. Yes. Yes. The key to the taboo room. Yes. Awesome. Yes. We are ready for chapter 5, which is the last chapter. All right. Guilty or not? Chapter 5, guilty or not? A trial was set up to judge the case of Ishola, Omoluabi's most celebrated inventor, who has been discovered to be the thief of the most precious scientific book in the history of the kingdom of Omoluabi. Are you guilty of the offense? The judge asked Ishola. "I am guilty with explanation, my lord," Ishola replied. "May we hear your explanation, please?" The judge beckoned. "Thank you, my lord. While I have been untruthful about the possession of IJINLE for many full moons, this kingdom cannot deny that the knowledge I gained from this book made this kingdom what it is today. I'm not justifying my act of theft. Still, I find it rather unfair to keep some materials that can help our society move forward in an enclosed corner of a community library, and even with a special permission to open the books. My lord, is it not problematic to you that IJINLE has been in the community library for 50 full moons before I was born, and yet nobody read what is contained inside of it before I dared to read it one day? Shobaloju, the originator of IJINLE, may not be proud that I stole the book. Still, he will be proud that I read the book, and the knowledge from the book has transformed this community today. I'm sure he's changing positions in his grave, happy because his idea has been transformed into a physical innovation. I know that intellectual greed consumed me, and I wanted to have IJINLE right under my roof every day, an action for which I regret, but my Lord, I do not regret what I have done with the knowledge in IJINLE. Today, my Lord, I drop all chieftaincy titles that I've received due to all the knowledge I had applied from IJINLE. I choose to be disrobed of all honor and respect from this kingdom. And I choose to go to the gallows for my indecent act of deception as the law of this land demands. But I have one final request before I go the way of my ancestors. I will travel to the place beyond smoothly if my Lord can decree that all the books in the special sacred corner of the Omoluabi Community Library be made free and easy to access by the community's people. The people cried as the Shola ended his explanations. The judge responded thus: Ishola, thank you for your bravery. I have listened to your explanations and the context of your guilt. While I grant your request for the collection to be made free, here is my judgment. You are hereby... Before the judge could pronounce his judgment, Ishola slumped and suddenly fell on the floor. Ofintoto quickly rushed to check his father's pulse. Unfortunately, Ishola joined his ancestors before they could snatch him from the hands of Alumutu. The end. Thank you for listening. All right. So let me hear your feedback for the story. Then we go to the questions and answer. We have a lot of questions we have a lot of debrief to do. Yes, awesome. So all of us will participate at this point in time. Everybody will participate at this point in time. I hope it's an interesting story. I hope there are a lot of lessons to learn from the story. All right, so all of us will participate at this point, and we are going to be going through these 7 questions. Yeah, Ishola is gone. Have a sweet rest, Ishola. Ishola collected a kuru from Ebora before they could pronounce a judgment on him. All right. So who should we blame for the theft of IJINLE? And at this point, just raise up your hand and then you can unmute yourself, and once I call your name. So who should we blame for the theft of IJINLE? From the story, who should we put the blame on for the theft of IJINLE? Who should we blame? Anybody want to take it on? Who should we blame for the theft of IJINLE? Yeah, the public library staff. Okay. Yeah. His name is Fide, the one in charge of the special collection. So my sister Ngozi said we should blame Fide, the public library staff, because he was absent at the desk when the book was stolen. All right. Who has a different opinion? Who should we blame for the theft of IJINLE? Who should we blame? Come on, let me hear from you all. Who should we blame? Should we blame, okay, the king who should direct the library staff to make information accessible? Okay, Sally saying, I think we should blame the community itself. They made the rules and the laws. I would blame the tradition of the land though. If the book was open to be accessed, there shouldn't be any cause of theft. Yes, I agree with you, Favor. That's a valid point. Okay. So we can see we should blame the bookkeeper who kept a golden secret for months before Ishola's bed. Okay. So we can see different opinions there. We should blame the library staff. The blame is for a lot of people. The king, the library staff, Oyinda, Mola, okay, the bookkeeper, and even Ishola. Okay. We can see the blame is being shared equally. Oyinda, Mola served them equally. All right. Yeah, we can see the blame going around now. Some people said the community, some people said we should blame Fide, some people said we should blame the people, and some people said we should blame Ishola. All right, that is fair enough. Ishola still, irrespective of the fault, isolated, perpetrated the act himself. Okay, yeah. Kayode is saying, yes, Ishola is still the one we should blame for the theft. All right. That sounds interesting. All right, number 2, is Ishola guilty at all? And I want somebody to unmute and really engage with this. So in the story, with all plot and twist, is Ishola guilty at all? Is he guilty? Okay. Ngozi, is Ishola guilty at all?
Yes. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, yes. Ishola is guilty as charged, even though he explained the reasons for taking the book. But then, as the law goes, ignorance of the law, or rather, law does not grant excuses for a crime. So he should be blamed. He is guilty because the fact is that he took away the book, which he should not have done in the first place. So the blame still goes to him. Yes, he should be. Okay. He's guilty.
Okay, yeah. So Ngozi said Ishola is guilty as charged. All his explanations to Ngozi did not hold any water. Okay, Kayode, let us hear from you. Is Ishola guilty at all?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I want to echo what Ngozi just said. I think Ishola should be blamed. The truth is that the fact that access was not given to the book did not mean that he could actually go ahead and steal the book, because eventually what he ended up doing was what he was accusing them of. He had the monopoly of the book and didn't give people access to the book as well. So he actually was even worse off in that sense. I mean, doing the same thing entirely. And it was more like a selfish end eventually, because he benefited personally while he was keeping the book away from the entire community for so long. So imagine if he had died before they knew about the book would have been lost, sort of.
Okay, that's a very good point. So Ishola is receiving another blame from Kayode. Awesome. Michael.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. For me, I won't blame Ishola, considering the fact that it brought development to the community. Imagine if the war has captured the community. If he had not stolen the book to develop himself and provide other itinerary for the community, those who came to capture them would have captured them away. Then what happened? Knowledge. You have the knowledge, you cannot exhibit it. What's the essence of the knowledge? They kept the book somewhere for no use, no access. Now, someone found out that this book is useful for his own development and for the community development. Then he captured the book and used it. To me, I won't blame him, because he had done a very good job by protecting his people. So why should I blame somebody who protected me? The book is just there. They didn't even know the ability of the book, but he knew the ability of the book and he took it away. So for me, I won't still blame him.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's a very different opinion from what Kayode and Ngozi have said. So Michael is saying he wouldn't blame Ishola because the knowledge Ishola got from the book actually changed that kingdom forever. So that's a unique perspective as well. All right, Sally. Sally, your hand is up.
Thank you.
You're breaking.
Yeah, issue development. Stealing is my network. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Ishola is guilty, very guilty. Forget the fact that he brought development to the kingdom. Stealing is stealing. He broke the rules too. He was in possession of the book. What if he had died, like somebody mentioned earlier? What if he just died? Nobody would have access to the book, and he was guilty. He's guilty of what he accused the community of doing. So he is guilty.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Sally also is trying to reiterate the position of Maxim, Coyote, and Ngozi that Ishola is guilty, no matter what good he has done with the knowledge in the book. I think Ngozi wanted to give a counter argument. I saw your hand up.
No, it's okay. No.
All right.
No.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Okay, yeah. So I think we can move to the next one. So Maxim is also saying that realistically, Ishola is guilty. Ignorance of the law does not negate its existence and application to what. So and that's a very valid point as well. All right. So I think we've been able to establish, a lot of people establish that he's guilty. And the third question is asking us, if he's guilty, what are his offenses, right? So for those who said he's guilty, what are the things we can say were his offenses? Personally, we said he stole, right? So what are the other offenses you could say Ishola committed, apart from stealing? Yeah, Ngozi.
Yes, apart from stealing, Ishola hoarded very important information. That is the book, hoarding. Okay. Again, Ishola prevented access to other people, even though the book has been there and no one has gone to read it. But then his stealing it has prevented access to the resource. Mm-hmm. Again, although he stole the book, he did not share the knowledge. Mm-hmm. He should have shared the knowledge gotten from the book, or he should have shared the information gotten from the book. Mm-hmm. But then he stole, he hid, he benefited everything all to himself. He did not even extend it to his immediate family, the wife and the children. So he's getting everything. And that is one of the problems we had, or we are still having, oral information system, kind of, even though it is a written document, but he has everything in his head. He did not share. Now, he died at the end of the whole thing. Had it been the book was not found and he died, the information would have died with him, just like what happened with our forefathers, with all the stories and folklores and everything they knew. No one documented it. They shared it anyway. But Ishola kind of, I think he's guilty as charged. He's guilty for so many things, for stealing, for hoarding, for not sharing, and for so many things. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Interesting. Any other? I think I can see some comment here. Apart from stealing, selfishness is part of the offense. Yes. Okay. I also think it was about making the same mistake his forefathers made by hiding the information from his children. Okay. Coyote is saying exactly. We do not know for a fact he made the best possible use of the knowledge of the book and the content. Perhaps we may have even had other people multiply the effect of the knowledge, and the town would have benefited in a larger scale. Who knows if there were other information he gained there, and that he used for his own selfish reasons against the town. That's a new perspective as well. Another offense is that he died before the final decision. Maxim. Yes, he didn't wait to hear the judgment. He died and just went away like that. Kwame, I know you are an indigenous knowledge enthusiast. What do you have to say to this, Kwame? I'm specifically calling you. Is Ishola guilty at all? Favor is saying, honestly, can we say that he did it because he was scared of the consequences? Was he really that selfish? Yeah, that's a good question as well. Maybe he got the secret to die before the judgment from the book. That's true. It's possible. It's possible. Kwame, if you can hear me, I know this is an area you are really interested in. Okay, let's move. Those are good responses. Those are good responses, actually. So, number 4, should the good done with the knowledge in IJINLE override the accusation against Ishola? And I think we've been able to answer this, that Kwame is reading the book, I can see. Yeah, so I think I've been able to answer this. If the good done by the book should override the accusation of theft against Ishola. I think we've been able to answer this. Number 5. This is really interesting. What judgment do you think the judge was about to pronounce before Ishola slumped? This should be a speculative question and speculative answer. Yeah, Ngozi, what do you think the judgment that was coming, what do you think it was?
Honestly, I was thinking that the judge would have some mercy on Ishola, even though he was guilty. I was thinking that the judgment now, that there should be leniency, kind of a reduced punishment for him. That was what I thought. I never thought that, Ishola would be severely punished. Yes, but unfortunately, he was not here to receive his judgment.
Yes. He went before they could actually pronounce anything on him. He wasn't ready to hear whether it will be justified or he will be punished. He just died like that. All right, thank you. Kayode.
Right, thank you. Since we are being speculative, let me be like the dreamer yourself and say that Ishola obviously committed the crime that cost his life. However, the outcome of what the crime was that he saved the life of the entire village. So he literally brought the entire village's life, so the life of the people in the village back. So if I was the king, I'd expect that he would obviously, outweigh his judgment eventually.
Okay. Kayode, if you were the judge, what would be your judgment if you were the judge in this case? So
that's what I just said. That so first of all, I will announce the judgment. For first and foremost, based on the day of the theft, if the law was for him to be killed, for example, then I would have stated that, and I would have counteracted it with the fact that we are all alive because of him, actually, right? So that obviously kind of cancels off the effect of the judgment I would have had, because if he didn't steal the book and have the information, perhaps, and used it the way he used it, perhaps we may all have been dead, because it was through the use of the information that the community was saved from the war and all that.
Okay, that's a very great one. Deborah is saying you are hereby sentenced to 20 years imprisonment with hard labor. That's a very strict one there. Maxim is saying, in my community context, it would have been released but banished from the community. Maybe it would have been banished to his base in Emialala permanently without coming out again, like a kind of house arrest. Ngozi is saying, if I were the judge, I would have reduced the punishment with mercy because of his efforts. Yes, maybe I would have done the same. If I weigh his offense by the good he has done with the knowledge in the book, maybe I would be lenient as well. I'm just saying, it's possible. So Michael is also saying he will banish him, but we cannot deny that he did good, with the information in the book. All right, let's hear from more people. There are some people that are just quiet here, and I may be forced to call names. I can see a lot of people here. So Oyinda Mola, so answer the same question. So what do you think what was the judgment coming to Ishola before he died?
I think it would be difficult to say, honestly. You really can't say, because you're not in the mind of the judge. The judge was obviously moved. He understood the good Ishola had done with the knowledge he received. So for me, I really can't say. I really can't say.
What if you were the judge? What would you have done?
Probably just 10 years imprisonment, because he did some good with the work. He actually did some good with the work. Although like people have said, we don't know the extent of good. There might have been a lot more to have been done, but I would have just given him some imprisonment, not a capital punishment or banish him or kill him, because he did some good with the knowledge, to be honest.
Awesome. Thank you. Damilare, I can see your hand.
Okay, if it were me, I would make him teach what he has learned from the book to everybody in the village. So it's gonna be the teacher in the village teaches what he has learned from the book, basically.
Yeah. But you know, he started a school, right? He started a school where he was training young people. So maybe your judgment will be that he will become a permanent teacher, and he will continue to teach the knowledge in the book for the rest of his days. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very interesting one. I think I should call one more person before we go to the last one. Miss Phillips, Mrs. Phillips, I can see you. What would you have done as the judge? If you can hear me. Okay, I will. Okay, you're going with Damilare's response as well. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's go to the next.